I know.
Oh, gee.
Uh,
You gotta chase your
how's
score pot.
I don't have Scorpot up.
Yeah, you have to if you want audio also. Well, not just game voice. 1 second, Mama. Score pot's on the bottom floor. No, still in the bottom. Click enter. Just click it. And then here, you can leave that or whatever, it doesn't matter. And then hit update. And then go chat. That way if somebody's chatting, you have to chat.
Yeah.
It's just like, you get any follows, thank them, please. The
Yeah.
CK shouted me out. I don't know if I'll get any, but just so you know.
So this is going to be a pretty basic tutorial of OBS. We're going to go over some functions and workability. Hopefully we can get some good questions, maybe answer some questions for some people. That would be good for everybody involved. Alright, so we're going to be starting here in just a minute. As you can see, this is OBS, your basic OBS. And it's going to be OBS 21, version 21. You need to have the most updated version of OBS for everything to work properly. You do a lot of bug fixes. You do a pretty good job of making sure everything's taken care of. So I guess I will go ahead and get started. So now, right now, this on here is just a basic overlay. And it's got a clear background. You can put whatever you want behind the background. And there's Lucky right there, looking over my shoulder. It's just the easiest to show.
Oh, okay.
You know, basic overlay.
I was just distracted.
Yeah, and that's your image. So, before we get too far into that, you're going to be looking at your basic settings. When you first get your OBS set up, you're going to be looking at your general settings. A lot of your general settings are going to be left alone. You're not going to want to mess with these too much, unless you really know what you're doing. So it's just best to leave a lot of your general settings alone. You can go to stream, because I am streaming on a different OBS. I can mess with this one. This one, you basically would want to click what server you're going to be on. Those servers can be Mixer, because that's what Lucky and I stream on. That's what a lot of our friends and family also stream on. But obviously there's a lot of different streaming partners here, or different streaming areas you can go to, YouTube, that type of thing, Twitch. FTL is what most people stream on because it's got the lowest latency. Basically everything that we do gets streamed right away. There's no lag. You know, it tends to be the easiest. Also, as of recent, it's been having some problems. The RTMP, it's got a little bit of lag. It's great if you're streaming games like PUBG or Fortnite, due to the fact that it's really hard for people to stream snipe you when you are, when you're about 10 seconds ahead of them. So it's really hard to stream snipe when they're behind. So your server, you want to always do auto. That's the most recommended. The reason for that is sometimes the closest server to you goes down, and it will auto-calculate back to the best one. And then this is your stream key. The stream key you would end up getting off of Mixer, and you would get that and place that in there. It's real easy to do. You would just go to mixer.com, go to your settings, and it would end up you would end up being able to get it from there. So real simple. Let me see. I'm just looking at it right now. Yeah. So it's under account and settings, and then you'd be able to get your stream key inside the settings. So that's where you would go to do that. Your outputs. All of your outputs, this is where people come in and have problems. A lot of the problems end up pop-ups. A lot of people have problems with the outputs because your video card sometimes doesn't work properly. Or you don't have a very good video card, or you're like us, where our freaking drivers were outdated for a couple of years, which is lovely. So basically, a lot of this it will auto set up for you. You know, you can rescale your output. Mixer only streams at 720p, so there's no point in having 1080. So, and then when you get smaller, get to the smaller screens, the 720, 1080 doesn't even matter because nobody's going to understand it. So, your rate of control, that'll auto set up. In this, I don't really understand it too much, so I definitely don't change it. Your bit rate, now that is where you're going to have issue. If you see that your stream is lagging or you're losing a lot of frames, you're going to want to change your bit rate. Mostly you're going to want to change that down. Because what's going to end up happening is that is your upload speed. So sometimes your internet's going to work great and you're going to be able to get, 2,000 bits a second. Then sometimes it's going to be totally crappy and you're not going to be able to get that. Or you're going to have more people on your internet using more upload. If you're using Comcast, I have been told, thank you very much, Ultra, and some of the folks over there in Asika's stream, in Asika's Discord, anyways, for letting me know that Comcast tops out their upload at 11 megabits a second. The reason why they do that is for torrenting. They don't want people doing torrenting. It's a lot of dark web type stuff, and they don't like people doing that stuff. So, if you're using Comcast, using the Comcast box, you're gonna get capped out, and it's gonna get kind of SOL for you. It's lovely. That's why a lot of people buy their own box. Because first of all, you save a little money. Second of all, you're able to get more out of what you're paying for. You get a higher download speed, higher upload speed. Just much better. So, right here, if you have a good video card, you're going to want to have this setup higher than your CPU, because you're going to want to use your video card more for the processing of your graphics, because that's what it's made for. Your processor is not meant to process the graphics. It's meant to process everything else and do the more complex math. And it shouldn't be doing all the math that your graphics processor is doing, because, well, That's why we have a graphics processor. So, if you have a 1050 or higher graphics processor in an i7 processor or CPU, it's going to be set probably right about very fast or fast. You'll be running really well that way. So that covers that. Your audio settings. Now this is where people go really awry, which I have done a few times, and forgotten to add a audio device, like a mic. And it's really hard to stream, really hard to talk to anybody if you don't have a mic. Your sample rate should always be about 44 kilohertz. Yeah, usually always going to be channel and stereo. Default, yes. Your second audio device, you definitely don't want a second audio device in most circumstances when you're streaming, because you definitely don't want to have a lot of bleed over from something else. That's where you can end up having yourself be heard 3 or 4 times, which isn't too much fun. So, like here, I have one mic disabled. We have another audio mic at default. So if I wanted a different mic, we've got the Elgato capture, our capture card, which is how we stream our games. We have the Yeti stereo microphone, which is what I'm talking to you on right now. Then we have a default. The default would be just about anything, but default works great. So when you're on default and in OBS, I'm going to show you in just a little bit that you have to go in and actually set what mic that you're going to be using, because if you don't, obviously you could be picking up a lot of different things. So now that we have one mic set up, audio decay, yeah, rate, that's fine, that'll auto set up. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Now let's go to video. Okay, so your base resolution, we have set to 1080p because that's what our monitors are set to, is base canvas resolution. It's easier to go from a higher resolution to a lower resolution. That's the reason why this is 720. So you have 1080i and then 720p. And bicubic. A lot of this stuff is going to be set up as well. And then your frames per second, that you can change to 30 or 60. The 60 or 30 doesn't really matter too awful much. It all just depends on your preference. If you're streaming off the Xbox, you're not going to see any difference whether it's 30 or 60. So, or if you're streaming off the PS4 for that matter. We just always have ours set to 60 just because it works best for Lucky's overlay that she runs, that she has multicolored. If it's set down to 30, it kind of flashes funny and it kind of strobes and it looks really super weird. And we really don't need anybody, stroking out. So you can set hotkeys. We can do some advanced stuff, but it doesn't really matter. You don't really need to do it. Here also, sorry, back to output. You want your audio always set to 128 bitrate, because if it's set any higher, most people aren't going to notice a difference. unless they have real good quality headphones, which there are some people out there that have really good quality headphones, but most don't when they're streaming and listening to you on a TV or a phone. And the higher bit rate is going to drag down your stream, because this is going to be taking more of your upload speed, so you just don't need it. So when you're done doing all this stuff, you go to apply, and that will apply the settings. Didn't want to change anything, so we're done setting it up. Now you're going to have a base canvas. You're not going to have anything going on. There's not going to be anything here to show you. So, like, you have the camera that you can see me on. There's my daughter. So it's real simple, So to get the image, to get this overlay that's on here, that's an image. You'd pick that image up. Lucky makes all of her own overlays. So to add an image, this would all be blank. You come over here to this plus mark, and you add image. Go over here to image, and then you can create your image. You can name it whatever you want. It's not that big of a deal. Go ahead and hit OK. That brings up this box. You go to your image file. Hopefully, you know where you save things. Like Lucky saves almost everything she has here. So, lots of cool stuff to choose from. You can go overlays. You can go add whatever. I am just going to add one of her logos, just for shits and giggles. So as you can see, that image is huge. Yeah. So you're going to want to size that down to where you want it. And you just do that by shrinking the image. Dragging the corner and shrinking the image. So that will add an image onto your overlay, or your screen. Okay. And it can be a foreground, it can be a background, whatever. So that's how you add an image. It's real simple. All the overlays are images. Very, very, very simple to add images. Just make sure you know where you saved your image. Because if you don't know where you saved your image, you're probably not going to find it. It'll take a lot of searching, it'll be a headache, and you're going to want to throw your computer out of the freaking window. Which, I don't know how many times people have said that. So, needless to say. Alright, so we have the image. Cool. Now, we want to go and do some streaming on, we got our image, and let's add Firebot, which Firebot is how you get your, all of your interactive stuff. A lot of cool stuff there. So, that is going to be a... Oh, where is it? That is going to be a media source, I think. Give me just 1 second here. Oh, it's a browser source. Just about everything we do is browser sourcing, actually. So, as you can see, there's lots of things. Alerts, booms, because Lucky has boom. The boom replay, chat boxes, Firebot, that type of thing. So you can name your browser source whatever. So you go ahead, click on that. So Basically, you have your URL for what you're wanting. In Firebot, that URL is going to be in the... yeah, it's going to be in your settings as well. I don't know where her Firebot went, but I would show it to you. But anyways, so that's where you would put your URL right there. Right there. And then, you know, you put your URL in there and that'd show up right here in this little box. This is just the standard URL. And then if you wanted, so like with Firebot, what you're going to want is you're going to want this screen, because this screen is going to be what's showing the video. You're going to want to put it wherever you want to show. So if you want your video shown here, you're going to want it set in the center of your screen. So, or if you want your video shown down here or over here or wherever you want your video shown, you can move it around. You can stretch it out. You can do just about anything. This is a blank canvas. This is yours alone. Absolutely nobody can tell you what you're supposed to do because it is yours. So, needless to say, I just got rid of it because I don't need it. But that is your general. Yeah, that's just your very, very, very general browser source. And like I said, just about everything we do is a browser source. If you do download Boom Replay does come with their own source. If you have an Elgato, that is going to be in a video capture device. So, you know, your capture device, you're going to want to say okay. And then also, this is the video capture device is also the webcam. So you have your webcam that you can choose from, or your Elgato. So if it's all set up right, that's how you do it. Yes, baby. So, so that's how you would set up your Elgato. So, therefore, if you're setting this up for streaming, you definitely want your Elgato set up on there. You click on that and click OK, and then that would show up, and you would want that the same size as your screen. So
1920 by 1080.
so yeah, you can adjust your screen size, standard, expanded, all your screen size stuff here. It'll show you everything you need to know. So, and but you can go ahead and change all this to whatever you want it to be. And we are going to do this video format. Highest frames per second, yes. And we are going to see where the world did I go. And device defaults, okay, well, let's go there. So, this is going to be a pain in the butt for me tonight. For some reason it did this to me on my computer as well. So you're just going to want to mess with it to get it to where, you know, it's full screen. So this takes a little bit of messing around. So I think, what is my video settings? 1080. So anyways, so needless to say, you can add that in there. Go figure, it's not wanting to work. Things don't want to work for me the minute I freaking get on here. But anyways, you can resize this however you want. So that 9 times out of 10 is the easy part. Now, what you're also going to want to do is you're going to go here. You're going to want to go your audio input. Audio input is going to be your mic. You're going to want to add a mic. So here, and then that's where you can find your Yeti or the Elgato. Hey, love you, baby. Give me kisses.
Wait for the camera.
You see yourself? You see yourself on the screen? Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're so cute. Love you, baby.
Give Daddy kisses.
Give me kisses. So in OBS, this is where you're going to want to find your microphone. So if you have absolutely no mic, this is where you find it. You need to go ahead and OK. If I did that here, I'd end up with 2 mics, and you hear me 2 or 3 times. Lovely. So that's your audio input. Boom replay, browser sources. Then we've got display capture. Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. It's a little more in-depth stuff. Game capture. You can also do that. This is if you're streaming off of the computer. You can do game capture, and if you have a screen or a game opened up in a window, it'll capture just the game rather than the background and everything else. So it captured just your game, showed just your game, which is perfect. If you're streaming off your computer, image, you can have image slideshows. If you had a slideshow, media sources, different scenes. You can change scenes in OBS, which is pretty cool. And when you create a scene, basically what you're doing is saving all your sources, and you'd have a different scene with all the different sources. So, like what would end up happening, like Lucky here has a different scene. Hey, how you doing, Orpheus? Just doing a little bit of a tutorial on OBS and how we set it up. Some people have been asking me a lot of questions in our Discord about this. So if you have any questions, go ahead and pipe up. I would be more than happy to help you out a little bit with that. Or it's on yours.
Sorry.
So, and if you have anything to add, I would be more than happy to listen to you there too. So, how you doing, Hornet? Outlaw. um, so, all right. So what I was going into is the scenes. Well, I'm glad you're alive. I'm really glad you're alive. So, in changing the scenes, like Lucky has many different scenes. This is what she typically runs for PUBG. So, you know, it has a different overlay. Has her little boom replay thing. Racing on refractor? Interesting. Very cool. Also, she has a stream bot here. A stream boss. R Factor. R Factor. Is that R Factor? Is that a game? Sorry. I know I'm an old fart. I don't play a lot of the games. Oh, on PC. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. So we're just doing kind of a little bit of a tutorial here on OBS. I've gone over basic settings. As you can see here, on this scene, Lucky has a thing here from Razer. It shows a little... it's pretty cool. These things are from Loots and other things, you know, different sponsors. And basically everything you see, like down here you have your donation bar. Right here, this is where her camera usually is. So a lot of this is just added in, and once you have it added in, you can change it around. I don't want to really mess with hers because I don't want to piss her off, because I do still have to live with her. Obviously we have a be right back screen as well. So definitely having multiple scenes is helpful when you might end up coming and going from your stream, because you definitely want to keep interacting with people, or at least let them know what the hell's going on if you're away from your screen for a bit. Because if they come in, they see nobody on the camera, and you're not talking to them, they come in and say hi, like both Outlaw and Orpheus just did. It's going to piss people off. They're going to disappear. They're not going to want anything to do with you. Yeah, it's just not fun. Alright, so that's the different scenes. We've gone over different images. And obviously there are different alerts that you can do. So let's go into maybe some StreamJar, whatever, Streamlabs. Okay, where are we going? Now we got StreamJar there. Why don't you have it?
Just type in Google.
Okay.
Just start typing Streamlabs and it will.
So we're just gonna go over here to Google and go to Just trying to show some people how to do a little bit of stuff on OBS. You know, do some basics. This is actually my wife's setup. I play a lot of Fortnite on Crazy Racer. My wife plays a lot of PUBG. Lucky.
So yeah, click that. And it shouldn't ask you for anything. It should just automatically log in.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. So, yeah. So here we use Streamlabs for everything. Rather than StreamJar, we had some real issues with StreamJar. A lot of the people on our Discord had a lot of issues with StreamJar. Yeah, we're going to be playing here in just a couple minutes. Just going over a couple things. Now, you have your alert boxes here once you get into StreamJar, which are really nice. You see where you show your followers, subscriptions, donations, hosting, that type of thing. Fading in and out, animations, the message you want shown. So, probably need to move this over a little bit. Alright. Sorry about that, I forgot I had a cam here. Okay. So yeah, so you can go ahead and change, you know, your message templates for whatever one you're going to want to do. You can change your image. It can be a stationary image or one of their images. That's what this is. Or you can use a sound. Makes it easier when somebody follows you to be able to catch onto it quicker. Make sure once you do any changes, you hit save, because if you don't, you're going to be SOL. I think Lucky and I are going to be playing some Fortnite here in probably 10 minutes. So that's really what we're going to be doing tonight. We've got some stuff we got to end up doing. Yeah, Orpheus, you should be able to play. Just go ahead and if you end up following Lucky, and then her gamer tag is BornLucky777 on. Oh, okay. And that right there is, yeah, that right there is going to be the gamer tag. But yeah. And yeah, and we definitely play with followers, so I'm just gonna run this real quick. I just gotta get through this, just because I had a few people asking me questions, so I could definitely just have them go back and check out the VOD. So yeah, and then what you're gonna want to do is this URL here. You're gonna want to take that URL. Go back to OBS and enter that into your oh my god, browser source. So once you enter that into your browser source, then you'll have that you will have that showing. So once anybody ends up following you or subscribes to you, excuse me, or hosts you, the picture and the sound that you choose will end up popping up on your screen. So, and that's really pretty much it. That is actually Disney Junior. My son's watching Disney Junior. That's there's dogs. A couple of dogs and a cat talking. I know it's kind of distracting. Uh, so, anyways, um, I think the only other thing, yeah, the only other thing that we end up doing is we use the chat box here. Um, so, in your chat box as well is just a URL, and that's just another browser source. So, 99% of what you're going to be doing on OBS is going to be browser sources, and that's really it. Super easy. The biggest problem you're going to end up running into a lot of times with OBS is the fact that you have to tinker with it a lot, because it loves to break and it loves to do exactly what you don't want it to do. Really weird. I don't get it. But that's just what happens. My stream name is Crazy Racer, and
Exclamation SO space.
hold on here.
If not,
So that is my stream. I'm currently on my wife's stream, just because she's the one that has everybody asking the questions, and I'm just the one that does all the behind-the-scenes work for her. So, so yeah. So really, that's what's going on. How you doing, Rocket? I know you haven't really said anything, but I'm shouting you out anyways because we're gonna be playing some Fortnite tonight. So, yeah. So, how you doing, man? Cool, cool, cool. All right. So, yeah. All right. Now I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to be right back. And Lucky and I will be playing some Fortnite. All right. Hold on just a minute.
BRB, guys. The stream will be right back up, okay?